And every night I pray the Lord will see me through. Every time I think I find a love that's true, I fall right back to walk the floor and think of you. Once there was a time when I had everything, and once around my finger was a wedding ring. But like a fool I threw away the love we knew, and now alone I walk the floor and think of you. Walk the floor and think about the home we shared. But lonesome halls and empty walls are all that's there. So for now your memory will have to do. Each day and night I walk the floor and think of you. Walk the floor and think about the home we shared. The lonesome halls and empty walls are all that's there. So for now your memory will have to do. Each day and night I walk the floor and think of you. Every day I walk the floor and think of you. And every night I pray the Lord will see me through. Every time I think I find a love that's true, I fall right back to walk the floor and think of you. Once there was a time when I had everything, and once around my finger was a wedding ring. But like a fool I threw away the love we knew, and now alone I walk the floor and think of you. Walk the floor and think about the home we shared. The lonesome halls and empty walls are all that's there. So for now your memory will have to do. Each day and night I walk the floor and think of you.
All right, good morning. Good morning, excuse me. Good morning, everybody. Let's just kill this music, which I actually like that song a lot, actually. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Everybody can hear me okay? This morning on a Monday morning, Columbus Day, October 14th. That's right, Columbus Day. Not that other stupid name that people use. It's Columbus Day. Christopher Columbus, who was more successful than all of his detractors, who will talk about Indigenous People Day this morning combined. John on YouTube, Huey on YouTube, Charlene on Facebook. I see some familiar names in here on a Monday morning. I hope your weekend was great. Lori on Facebook, good morning. Mark on Facebook, Randy on YouTube, Deb on X. We've got all the platforms covered here. Good morning, everybody on X. Ro on Facebook, Mary on Facebook. J-E-K, is that Jek or J-E-K on X? Good morning. Wait for some people to come on in here. Hit the like and subscribe, whatever platform you're on. I appreciate it. Hope your weekend was good. Mine was busy. Had a birthday party last night to go to with my family. We were there till pretty late. Hope you all had a good weekend as well. Texas West, good morning on YouTube. Everybody on YouTube, make sure you hit the thumbs up, smash the like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification so you get notified when we go live, like this morning. Debbie on YouTube, a lot of YouTube in here this morning, that's good. YouTube numbers continue to grow, which we like. Roe Johnson says, getting ready for flurries this week in Wisconsin. Ooh. It's going to get cold here in New York, too, they say. Maybe even starting tomorrow or maybe it's Thursday. It's going to get cold here this week. Lorraine, good morning. Great weekend. Good to hear. Cats B says, watched all the rallies this weekend. I caught a little bit of some of the rallies on Real America's Voice. And then someone sent me the clip of Ben Bergquam once again in the chat. Well, not in the chat, but out in the crowd. And goes up to some guy and the guy says something about Slick Rick. First time, Joan, we like that. We love that, first timers. Welcome on in on Facebook. If you're a first timer and you have friends on Facebook, share it with your friends on Facebook. Best thing you can do on Facebook is actually share the Live from Studio 6B page with your friends. I think there's an option to do that where you can invite them to like the page. That's how we grow the... Amy says, I'm jealous. We are breaking a record 87 today. 87. Now, why are you jealous? I'm jealous. Let's flip-flop. John says, finally seeing Trump ads here in Connecticut. Okay, they must be spending some money, probably targeting viewers on OTT platforms. I don't know where you're seeing it on traditional TV or if you're seeing it on digital, but that's good to hear. All the complaints I get from people on the commercials on, well, everything that we do, Real America, I don't know how many times I can try to describe it, but it just doesn't seem to get through. So we don't have any control over those ads. Those campaigns buy those ads in the states or the cities or the zip codes or the demographic that they want. It doesn't matter what you're watching. Doesn't care, doesn't know. It just knows that you fit those demographics and it serves you the ad. Doesn't matter that you're watching on a liberal or conservative platform or this platform or that platform, or if it's YouTube or Facebook or Dish or Direct or TV, it doesn't matter. All they know is you fit somehow one of the demographics that the people who placed those ads gave them. Either it could be financial. They said, we want everybody who makes over $50,000 a year, we want to target in this zip code. You could be the most staunch conservative in the world. If the Kamala Harris campaign said we want to reach people who make $50,000 or more in this zip code, you're going to get the ad. It does not matter. Good morning, everybody. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. I even get Harris ads on my email. Yeah, well, it's the same. That's the same idea. It's the same idea. Banner ads. You know, you visit websites, and all of a sudden you're seeing ads. It's the same idea. Boom, boom, boom. My 5-year-old granddaughter is saying Sherrod Brown is too liberal for Ohio. Well, she's only had 5 years to make that decision. She's ahead of most. Good for her. She figured it out a lot quicker than most people in Ohio seem to figure it out because he's been there forever. Rebecca's in New York too. She's freezing already. I mean, Long Island is a little chilly this morning. We're at that stage in Long Island where you feel like you could put the heat on in the morning, and then you got to put the air on in the afternoon. That's kind of the range we're in now. We're in that spot where it's cold in the morning, and then by the afternoon when the sun comes up, things start to warm up, and you're like, oh, it's a little warm in here. So we're in that spot where you could do both in the same day. Yeah, I saw a little bit of this whole thing of him. Again, I look to the people who actually put these things together and blame them more than actually him, because he's just following directions of some yuppie who thinks that this was going to be a great idea. Here's what we're going to do, Tim. We're going to have you walk out there. We're going to have you do this. You're going to walk out there. We're going to send you out there hunting, even though you're not going to have a gun with you. That's the first thing that just jumps out at you. He shows up at the field with no gun. That's just, I don't know. I blame the yuppie person who put it together more than I blame them. I mean, I guess in the end he could say, no, that's stupid, I don't want to do that, and he doesn't. But so I have a theory this morning after watching a lot of media this week. Not a lot of media, but I'm starting to notice something. I don't know, and maybe it's nothing. I'm just starting to wonder if the media is at the point where they maybe don't want to hide the fact anymore that they're disgusted that Kamala Harris continues to blow them off. And I'm just starting to wonder if they're getting to the point where they're like, you know what? She's clearly losing any momentum she had. The sugar high is gone, way gone, for like a month now. She's not doing interviews. Clearly, we know why. Why are we not pointing it out? And each publication might do it in a different way. And the only reason this is about as far out as a theory that I'll get. Don't tell Delgado, because this doesn't even register on his theory scale. But I saw this time, let me just pull it up. I saw this, let me start here. All right, let's throw this up. Let's put that up. Okay. So I saw this article in Time magazine. What kind of president would Kamala Harris be? And it's, you start to read it. I glanced at it. I didn't read every word. And they go through some of this stuff. And they say, to examine these questions, Time spoke with 20 current and former Harris campaign advisors, former aides to her vice presidential and Senate offices, senior officials from each of the past presidential administrations, and a range of policy experts. What you don't notice here is they say they spoke to, well, her. Okay. And so they continue on, and they continue on. And then they use this line. You could imagine that a Harris presidency as an iOS upgrade of the current administration. The operating system would stay the same, but with new features and better packaging. And I thought to myself, well, man, that's a pretty terrible way, or and I guess maybe interesting way to basically say she's going to be if anything, she's going to be worse than Biden, but she's basically the same person. She's going to be exactly like Biden, really no different. Think of it as an iOS upgrade to your iPhone. Operating system stays the same. Maybe some new features. Maybe they package it a little better in that she's younger and not drooling on herself. And I thought, man, I don't know that I would take that as a necessarily a big positive way to describe our current campaign. So I'm reading on. reading on. And I've seen a couple other things this weekend too, where the media has clearly started to not hide the fact that she continues to hide from the media, do any kind of real interviews, and the interviews she's doing are really pathetic. And I'm reading down. And then I get to this part right here. If I can find it. It's actually a pretty long article. It's pretty in-depth. Goes through a lot of stuff that she would have to face. Mainly her policy positions. 65% of registered voters saying the country's on the wrong track. And you get to the point where they say, when she does do interviews, she mostly favors local media, cultural podcasts, or friendly talk shows. Harris declined repeated requests for an interview for this story. In contrast, President Trump talked about his policy vision with us at Time magazine for 90 minutes. And I was kind of surprised to see that in the article, because that's kind of a real kick to the gut when they take all this time. It's a 17-minute read, so they really dive in. But they make the point of saying, we really wanted to talk to her. And once again, she said, thanks, but no thanks. I'm not going to sit down and try to answer any questions. And they didn't hide it. I mean, yeah, they buried it down in the article. You got to read the whole thing to get to it. But I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting that they took that shot at her within the article. And I just started, and I've seen a couple other things. First of all, everybody see J.D. Vance on with Martha Raddatz on ABC. If there's I thought Kristen Welker might be the dumbest person on Sundays, but I have to start to wonder if she's given up the throne to Martha Raddatz. God, she is awful. And J.D. Vance body slammed her on Sunday, and it was so glorious to watch. It was absolutely so glorious to watch. If you haven't seen it, oops, hold on. If you haven't seen it, now you have.
I understand what you're saying, that some people left behind, but he's making these statements that the mayor is flat out disputing.
Well, Martha, you just said the mayor said they were exaggerated.
Grossly exaggerated.
That means there's got to be some element of truth here. And of course, President Trump was actually in Aurora, Colorado, talking to people on the ground. And what we're hearing, of course, Martha.
Like, here's the first thing. If you're a producer on the show, how does this topic, how do you decide that this is the hill that you want to try to die on with somebody way smarter than you? We have video of armed suspects going into these buildings. So her whole argument is to the level of disruption, I guess, and listening to the left-wing lunatic mayor and the left-wing lunatic governor, who, what do you think they're going to say, Martha? Do you think they're going to say, oh, yeah, we're doing a terrible job, this is what's going on? Of course they're going to try to downplay it. But the bigger point is, how do you decide in your production meeting of all the things you could argue with J.D. Vance on and the Trump-Vance ticket and policy? You want to stick to, there's so many things that you could have a discussion with and push back against. You pick whether or not criminal aliens are taking over buildings in Colorado, and to the extent that they are doing that. And you're going to end up on the side of the criminal. That's the discussion you decide you want to have. Who makes that decision? Yeah, let's go at him with this. Nobody in the meeting is smart enough to go, well, we're going to argue degrees of this. We know there's video of it happening. So even if that's the only incident, are we saying that's good? Are we saying that's okay with us? Why are we going to argue this with him? Number one, she doesn't have the mental capacity to even keep up with him. But furthermore, why this? Isn't there anything else we can actually argue where we can just take a side and then let the voters decide? If we're going to push back on him, why this? When there's, as he set this up perfectly when he said, okay, the guy said it's exaggerated, meaning there's some element of truth to it. He didn't say that didn't happen. So she sets herself up for utter failure because she's a dunce. Her producers are dunces, and they decide this is the hill they're going to die on in this interview.
That means there's got to be some element of truth here. And of course, President Trump was actually in Aurora, Colorado, talking to people on the ground. And what we're hearing, of course, Martha, is that people are terrified by what has happened with some of these Venezuelan gangs.
Senator Vance, I'm going to stop you because I know exactly what happened.
Martha.
I'm going to stop you. The incidents were limited to a handful of...
Again, just a dunce. Listen to, she can't even hear herself. I'm going to stop you because I know what happened. What kind of interviewer would ever say that to a guest? I couldn't imagine ever having a guest on, launching into a discussion and then stopping them and saying, I'm going to stop you because I know what happened. I mean, it's...
apartment complexes, and the mayor said our dedicated police officers have acted on those concerns. A handful of problems.
Only, Martha, do you hear yourself? Only a handful of apartment complexes in America were taken over by Venezuelan gangs, and Donald Trump is the problem and not Kamala Harris's open border. Americans are so fed up with what's going on. And
that's like saying, Senator Vance, if this was like the day after 9/11, Martha Raddatz would have said, the plane was confined to the upper side of the building. We all saw it. That's what they're saying. It only was the 100th floor up. Did you see it? That's the mentality of this woman.
They have every right to be. And I really find this exchange, Martha, sort of interesting because you seem to be more focused with nitpicking everything that Donald Trump has said rather than acknowledging that apartment complexes in the United States of America are being taken over by violent gangs. I worry so much more about that problem than anything else here. We've got to get American communities in a safe space again. And unfortunately, when you let people in by the millions, most of whom are unvetted, most of whom you don't know who they really are, you're going to have problems like this. Kamala Harris, 94 executive orders that undid Donald Trump's successful border policies. We knew this stuff would happen. They bragged about opening the border, and now we have the consequences, and we're living with it. We can do so much better, but frankly, we're not going to do better, Martha, unless Donald Trump calls this stuff out. I'm glad that he did.
Okay, let's just end that with they did not invade or take over the city, as Donald Trump said. I want to move on to
just a few apartment complexes. No big deal.
A few apartment.
I mean, that's just she should have just gone to commercial. I mean, she looks like such an absolute fool. Absolute fool. She tries to sneak it in there one last time because she doesn't have the ability to argue the points. So again, who is the producer that says to her, this is what we should go with? And she agrees. Duh. She doesn't even think it through. Don't you know who you're having on? Did you watch the debate? Have you ever watched the guy speak? You're not gonna gotcha him with this subject matter when there's video evidence of it happening at least once, which is enough. Even in the end, she repeats it again. A few Don't worry about it. No, it's fine. Just a couple complexes. Just a couple, though.
I'm going to move on to
Just a few apartment complexes. No big deal.
A few apartment complexes that the mayor did not seem was invading the entire city. Let's move on to women and abortion.
She just couldn't help herself. Just could not. What was she going to do at that point? She was made to be an absolute total fool by J.D. Vance. What is she going to do? And listen, I give the guy a lot of grief. Oh, by the way, here's the, this is pretty funny.
My Slick Rick, my paisan.
Yeah,
I'm Italian.
Yeah,
he's Italian.
Yeah, you like his outfits?
Oh, his shoes? yeah. We started watching that because of the shoes. My wife, she's like, look at these shoes.
Now, I heard this and I thought to myself, now, wait a second. I shouldn't be laughing at this. We started watching that because of the shoes? Not because of the brilliant host or hosts or sports or news or the guests or the interviews. We started watching for the shoes? What? What? What am I listening to here? 10 years of doing this and I'm bringing in new viewers because of Slick Rick's shoes? So I don't know. Upon further review, I don't know how I feel about this clip. I don't know. I may have to trash it. Oh, God. No. It's not because of the brilliance of the show. It's not because of the way the show's put together. Not because of the host. Not because of the co-host. It's not because of Damon and Vinny back in the day. They hooked me early. Not because of the way Damon and Paul and Rick used to jive. Not because of the different segments. Not because of no. It's because of Rick's shoes that we watch. What am I doing? Somebody explain to me what I'm doing. Maybe I, like Kamala Harris, just need to go work at McDonald's. Oh, of course. Sure. Of course. Why not? Why not? Slick Rick shoes. Well, that's fine. Slick Rick shoe. Whatever brings him in, Damon. Whatever brings him in. Oh, God. Too funny. So I did see that. So anyways, my point being, let's get back to being serious here. There was another body slam this week. And I give the guy a lot of grief because he deserves it. But congratulations to the speaker. This is once again how it's done. Because like we were just talking about Martha Raddatz, like at the end there, they got to try to, after they've asked you the stupidest question you could ever imagine, and then they get body slammed on it, and then they decide, I guess I really can't argue this because I don't have any facts. They try to just restate their stupid question at the end and then go immediately to a next question. And they think that because they snuck it in there one more time and then they immediately went to something else, most guests just stare at the thing and don't say anything. Well, Mike Johnson was having none of that with the second dumbest person on TV, Kristen Welker.
Kamala Harris's numbers are dropping in the polls, and she just said in her own words, you saw the tape there, there is no difference between her and Joe Biden. The Biden policy.
Again, let me just state for the record here before we go on with this clip, whoever the producers are for these shows you how desperate they're getting, shows you that they see the polling, because you can always tell where the media is mentally and how freaked out they are by the subject matter of what they talk about on these Sunday shows. And Meet the Press decided that the subject matter they wanted to cover today was Donald Trump's LDL readings.
policies, Bidenomics, all the things they champion are destroying the country, and everybody knows that, and that's why Donald Trump is elected. Republicans are going to win the Senate and the House.
Mr. Speaker, we should note that FEMA funds were actually redirected on Donald Trump's watch to deal with the migrant issue. Let me ask you mentioned the medical records.
No, ma'am. No, wait a minute. No, that's hold on, wait a minute. Wait, facts are important. That is a new program that started in 2020 under Joe Biden. That funding wasn't necessary under Trump's administration because we secured the border. We didn't invite illegal aliens and dangerous people into the country. That's a Biden-Harris policy, and everybody knows it.
Mr. Speaker, it did happen under Donald Trump's watch, but let me just ask you about medical records since you raised them.
No, Kristen,
should Donald Trump release all of his medical records?
New account.
Should Donald Trump release all of his medical records?
He has.
Speaker?
He issued the records of his physicians. Kamala Harris issued her medical records as diversion because she's desperate because she's sinking in the polls. Donald Trump's health is on display. Everyone in America can see it. The man works nonstop. He never quits. He probably sleeps 4 hours a night. He doesn't require as much sleep as the average person. He's an unusual figure. And this is the strength that we need in a time like this. We're in the most dangerous moment since World War II. You have to have strength. You have to have a steady hand. You have to have a commander-in-chief that our allies respect and our enemies fear. They do not fear Kamala Harris. They do fear Donald Trump.
Mr. Speaker,
that's what people are going to vote on.
Just to be very clear, he hasn't released all of his medical records. He released 2 letters. Should he release the results of the cognitive test?
It's unnecessary. He's on display every minute.
So it's unnecessary. You can see that he didn't release his medical records. You don't want to know things like his cholesterol level, whether he's dealing with any issue that we may not know about, if he's going to be commander-in-chief. And he also said he would release
Kristen, he was president for 4 years. We've been through this. This is old hat to us. We did all this. We had this. Dr. Ronnie Jackson, we heard from him. All the White House physicians, we heard from them for 4 years. That was 3.5 years ago. For the last 4 years before that, there's nothing hiding his medical records, but good attempt to latch on to something that you can try to make a scandal out of.
Kristen, listen to your question.
Should he release that?
The American people, Kristen, the American people don't care about the cholesterol level of Donald Trump. They care about the cost of living and the fact they cannot pay for groceries because Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's policies have put them in that situation. The medical records are irrelevant. Let's talk about things that the American people care about. That's why Donald Trump is surging in the polls, because he's doing that on stages, in interviews, nonstop around the clock, and Kamala Harris has done nothing. Every time she talks, her numbers go down because she is uniquely unqualified to be the commander-in-chief at one of the most dangerous times in the history of the country. That's a fact.
Uniquely unqualified is a great way to say it. Uniquely unqualified, exactly. So yeah, that was a smackdown too, and good for him. I've watched this clip probably 10 times. I have no idea what she's saying. I mean, literally no idea what this phrase is.
Because what we see is so hard to see that we.
Why is this so low? Is it really this clip this low? I guess it is.
Because what we see is so hard to see that we lose faith or a vision of those things we cannot see but must know. Because what we see
is so hard to see. Well, then how the hell do you see it?
A vision of those things
what we see is so hard to see that we lose faith or a vision of those things we cannot see but must know.
Because what we see is so hard to see that we lose faith or a vision of those things we cannot see but must know. Because what we see.
What? Who writes this shit on her teleprompter? What we see is so hard to see. It's like, did anybody ever catch the Family Feud where Steve Harvey, the question to the guy is, name something that's hard to do with your eyes open. And the guy says, read. That's what this reminded me of. Name something to do that's hard with your eyes open. The guy said, read. Read, Steve. He said, Steve Harvey said, I'd sure like to see you do it with your eyes closed. She would absolutely, if she ever went on Family Feud, she would absolutely be a YouTube highlight for dumbest answer ever. What even is that? Oh, let's see. Let's take a look at the markets. Markets are now opened. Dow's down 31 at the open. S&P up 17. NASDAQ up 100. Oil down to $74 a barrel. It's, gas prices are better, but still, I mean, this was when Trump was in office. What were we per barrel? I mean, it was like way down. As a matter of fact, where's the chart? We could probably look at the chart and see. 5-year chart. Where do we get down to? That was in 2020. How about $20 and how about a low of $19.27 as he was leaving office, and the close on the day was $20.48 a barrel. How about that? 61.50, 42, 45, 38. Low of 26. This is as Trump was coming into office. So, I mean, you look at oil, I mean, really, he kind of kept it pretty much. Highest it ever got was 73. So Biden has, on the low end, been at the highest end of where Trump was. Trump on the low end was like $20, just as he was getting ready to leave office. Now we've just gotten accustomed to 74 like it's no big deal. Pretty wild. Crypto's doing well this morning. Bitcoin 64.6. It was 64.9. It's now back, giving a little back. Ethereum 25.46. XRP, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. Nobody cares. So I did see that. Oh, what did I do? What did I do? Let's go to here. Mark Halperin has been taking a beating from all his lefty friends because of his position on where we are in this race. And I keep telling you about this morning show he's doing, the morning meeting, which is fantastic. And I didn't catch a lot of it this morning, but this is where he talks about the polling. So let's take a listen to what they talked about.
101, please. Sure, everybody saw 3 national polls, all showing Harris ahead or tied, but all those polls tightening from their previous research, and all of them within the range of danger for Harris if you believe that if a national poll showed the race Harris +2 or less, that Trump is likely to win the Electoral College. Now, there's a school of thought that says that there's a problem for the vice president in that the sugar high is the only thing that put her ahead or even, and that she's fallen behind now because the quote unquote natural state of the race is for Trump to be ahead as he was against Joe Biden, that Harris has some advantages that Biden didn't have, but also some disadvantages that offset electorally. Byron York, let's put up 102, please. Byron York, writing this morning, the Washington Examiner, posits this theory, again, that has some currency, particularly in Republican circles, that says, again, Trump is ahead for a reason. There is a theory. The normal resting state of the race is for Trump to be a little ahead. Harris has enjoyed 3 big bumps, but they've all faded. Convention, entering into the race, the convention, and the debate. And now we're to a place where Trump has, as we say, echoing, you can take that down, the Obama 2012 position, small but durable leads. So, Dan, what do you think of that theory that the natural resting state, when Harris is not riding a high, has Trump a little bit ahead and therefore enough ahead to win?
So I think it's not that she's had 3 bumps and it's resettled. That first bump when she got in the race, when she tightened all those Sun Belt states and arguably, moved slightly ahead in Michigan and Wisconsin, she hasn't receded in those Sun Belt states. She's still kind of right there, maybe down, 2 points in each. I think that, yes, after the other 2, it did resettle after the convention, after the debate. I think the difference today versus those other 2 is after each of those first 2 bumps that I just mentioned, she went into a defensive posture. Don't make a mistake, kind of say nothing. I think they thought they had the lead. Let's kind of ride this out. Now, today, and we can talk more about this here in a little bit, she is very much on a front foot to the point where they're just kind of almost firing as many bullets as possible in different directions.
Yeah, I don't know that I agree with that at all. She's on a front foot. Again, I guess as far as what, like she's actually going to talk to people, but who is she talking to? The View, Howard Stern, call her daddy? That's your front footing? You won't talk to Newsweek? They say in this article, this is my point of bringing up the fact that these places are now starting to point out, well, we approached her to talk about this, but she turned us down. I mean, I don't know how she's on a front footing or an aggressive footing or firing whatever he just said, firing bullets all over the place to see what sticks. When you look at where she's going, I don't know what votes she's catering to that she doesn't already have by going on Howard Stern, by going on Call Her Daddy, by going on The View. She's preaching to the choir. She's not convincing anybody that's maybe on the fence that somehow she's an agent of change, somehow she's different, somehow like the Newsweek article says, she's an iOS reboot upgrade with maybe a little different software, different packaging, but it's still the same phone. Still the same phone. So I don't know that I necessarily agree with that at all. Real Clear Politics polling. Take a look at that. Let's go here. Let's go through them. Pennsylvania, Trump plus 0.1, as razor thin as you can have it. New York Times Siena has her plus 3. Bloomberg has her out plus 5 in Pennsylvania. Can't see how that's even close to being possible. The farthest one for Trump is Atlas has him up plus 3. Trafalgar, which is usually been very accurate, has it plus 3 for an average of Trump slightly ahead in Pennsylvania. North Carolina, again, Trump plus 0.5 percentage point. Only place that has her up there is Atlas, plus 3. Georgia, Trump plus 0.5 percentage point. Fox News has her plus 3. Wall Street Journal has her plus 2. Overall, Trump. So Trump ahead in Pennsylvania, ahead in North Carolina, ahead in Georgia. So let's look at the other parts of the blue wall here. They have her slightly up in Wisconsin, barely holding on. 3 of them have it a tie, including the Hill and Emerson. Quinnipiac has Trump plus 2. Obviously, Quinnipiac leans usually left. So that stands out to me more than a couple of these others. Trafalgar, usually very accurate, has Trump plus 1. So these 2 that have Trump in the red would be the 2 that catch my attention here in Wisconsin. And then, of course, Michigan. So Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Kamala Harris needs to win all 3. They've got Trump almost 1 percentage point up. Quinnipiac, again, left-leaning Quinnipiac, Trump plus 4 in Michigan. And that's grown. I think they only had him plus 1 or 2 last week. Insider Advantage plus 2. Harris, Wall Street Journal has her out 3. Bloomberg has her out 3. Wall Street Journal has her out 2. New York Times Siena has her out 1. But everybody else has Trump. So, again, Harris needs to win Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, or the road for her is unless she was to snag something like Arizona or Georgia or North Carolina, becomes very difficult. Arizona, Trump plus 1. New York Times Siena has them out 5. USA Today Suffolk has them out 6 in Arizona. Neither one of those to me seems plausible. I think it's probably closer to everything else that's here. Plus 1 could be Nevada, Trump Harris, Trump plus 0.2. Wall Street Journal has them out 6. I mean, that's such an outlier compared to everybody else. And honestly, that's really what's giving him this plus overall, is at least in here, is the Wall Street Journal. You kind of see where this race has gone. He was up for a while, then he was down for a while, and now they've kind of, we're getting the golden cross here. Some of the other data. Rasmussen has Trump +1 in Arizona. Hill Emerson has it tied. So, I mean, I would go with those two. Rasmussen here +2. Why are there two Rasmussens, I wonder? Rasmussen has it +1 here. Rasmussen has it +2 here in the same poll. I'm not sure what that's about, but. So yeah, there's a little, I'll just take a look at Virginia. Last time I think she was +6 something. Yeah, so still +6.4 in Virginia. I don't know that that's true. I've heard a lot of talk about early Republican movement on the ground in Virginia. Votes coming back. Early voting numbers up from where they've ever been in Virginia. So we'll see. Don't have a ton of time here this morning. I'm gonna have to end the stream pretty quickly. I have an appointment to get to. But if there was one article that I caught my attention today, was, speaking of polling, was this one. Dr. Brian Jundeff. I believe Brian's a doctor. Am I correct in that? Yes, he is. MD. Physician and writer. He's got a good article today over at the American Thinker about past presidential polls, providing a big clue about November 5th. I'll share this on our X right now. Boy, the American Thinker article from last week is one of the most shared articles I think we've ever done about what a 47 presidency looks like as compared to what a 45 second term would have been. That's a good one. It's definitely a good one. So, all right, let's see here. Amy says, thanks for the stream this morning, Damon. No problem. I wish I had more time this morning. What about Ohio? Did we not do Ohio? Did we not do Ohio? Bum, bum, bum. Come on, why is this thing so slow? Trump plus 7.4 right now is the RCP average. And again, I love these. I love these this day in history. You see where Biden was in Ohio in 2020, just slightly to an advantage, plus 0.6. Clinton back in 16 was plus 1.8. Trump out 7.4 in Ohio. Washington Post has him out 6. Marist has him out 6. New York Times Siena has him out 6. Bowling Green YouGov has him out 7. Hill Emerson has him out 10. Rasmussen has him out 7. I mean, right now, if these are anywhere close to true, I mean, Ohio is a walk in the park. But then you go over to this, and this is again where I kind of wonder about the top line, because how does he not have coattails to bring Bernie with him? And maybe in the end he does, but according to this right now, Sherrod Brown is out 2.6. But I mean, maybe this is closer than it normally would be in Ohio. I don't know. If you're there, you can tell me. But right now, the Senate race doesn't look nearly as convincing as the top of the ticket race does. people are in Brown's pockets here. Issue 1 is going to be a problem. I called him last night to make sure he didn't need crisis management, which he said he was already in the process of setting up. So, yes, it's bad. It's bad. May have to send somebody over there. If he doesn't show up tonight, we'll know why. I told him last night, I said, listen, if your fat coach is not fired by tomorrow, your team has no hope ever. Ever, until you have a new owner. And that's the truth of it. If the fat coach is not fired today, your team is doomed. Your team is doomed. There's just no excuse. There's no excuse for him to be the coach of that team by even still right now at 10 a.m., 9:55. As a matter of fact, I haven't seen it. Is there any headlines? I should put on. Let's put on ESPN here and see if we can have, if there's any headlines. Nothing. No breaking news at the bottom. The team is useless. The team's hopeless. Nothing. If he's the coach by the end of the day today, if he's the coach still of the team by tonight when we come on the air at 8 o'clock, if Slick is there, I may have to abuse him for the whole 2 hours. I know people don't want to see me do that, but I just it's going to be like Big Brother going to have to take it from younger brother. Because if he's the coach still by tonight, might as well dismantle the team. It's going. And by the way, I told him the day they hired him that the guy was total disaster, absolute total disaster. So, why am I not getting notifications on Facebook? I have no idea, Joyce. I wish I knew. I don't know how these notifications work on all these platforms. I know, but you got to subscribe to them or hit the bell notification or be notified. I don't know. They probably don't want you to know when I'm live. Our Facebook traffic is for many followers as we have 117,000. We went from 20,000 to 50,000 to 80,000 to 100 to 117, and now we've just stopped. So I'm sure it's being manipulated, just in the way our followers are being stifled. I'm sure the streams and everything is being stifled as well. So, yeah, let me just make it. I just want to make a comment on this. I know there's a guy on Twitter, that's posting consistently. That's getting a lot of attention. I would encourage everybody to be very careful with all of that. I would just be very careful if some guy on Twitter who nobody knows who it is making the claims that this guy's making and making the posts he's making. Not saying it's not true. Not saying it is true. I would be very, very cautious. Quite frankly, I'd be staying away from the whole thing right now. And if he wants to post it and people want to dig into it and somebody actually wants to come with something concrete, then people, I'm sure, will pay attention. Well, at least in conservative media, they will. But I would be very careful with jumping into that pool with 2 feet as of right now. But that's just me. Exactly. You probably can't rely on it. Who was Damon just talking about? I'm talking about the all of the Tim Waltz accusations that are flying on X from one specific poster who I don't even know who he is. Doesn't even use a real name. And yesterday there was like 9 or 10 threads posted. And yeah, I think you're smart to proceed with some caution there. Lynette, thanks very much. Guys, make sure you head over to Live from Studio 6B. All the stuff we're talking about with notifications and followers and being stifled, this is why it's important that you sign up to be a member over at livefromstudio6b.com, a place where we'll never get stifled. We don't have a notification system built in, and we don't normally, the lives are, the lives are available there. When we're live, it is actually live there, but certainly, as long as you sign up over at livefromstudio6b.com, we'll have your information. We can always get to you, and you'll always know where we are. So, I mean, and it doesn't take long. You can sign up through Google or Facebook. It takes literally 3 seconds to do it. So it's not hard to do. And of course, all of our stuff, all of our shows, all my morning streams are here. All of our night shows are here. All the times, anytime I stream events, they're here. Our new sponsor, Freedom Force Nutrition, all available, 15% off, still here at the site. Like all of our videos, news, and then obviously all of our merch, all available. Pretty simple to use the site. You can subscribe, join the mailing list. Livefromstudio6b.com. Make sure you sign up over there and follow us on all our social media. All right. I think that's it. I don't actually, let me check the events schedule, and I'll tell you if I'm going to stream anything today before I let you go. Updates, events. Today is the 14th. Trump Town Hall tonight, 6 p.m. The Greater Philadelphia Center and Fairgrounds, 6 to 8. Okay, so nothing before that. So I will not be streaming anything today. President Trump holds a town hall tonight in Pennsylvania. Supposed to start at 6 and end at 8 when we come on the air. So again, we're in that same situation where if the president's late, it could drag into that first 8 o'clock hour for us. So if you turn us on at 8 and you see Trump on the town hall, you'll know that it's still going on, and we will pick it up after it's over. That's the only thing I see on the Trump events calendar for today. Tomorrow night, Trump delivers remarks in Atlanta, Georgia, 7:30 p.m. So that clearly will go into most of the show tomorrow night, actually. Even if he's on time, it'll go into most of the 8 o'clock hour. If he's late, it'll probably take up most of the show. So tomorrow night will be Trump coverage of his event on Tuesday. During the day tomorrow, Trump joins Bloomberg News for an interview. That's at noon. I'll stream that as long as there's a feed available. J.D. Vance joins Mom for America Town Hall tomorrow night, 6 to 8 in Philadelphia. I probably won't be able to stream that because we'll be getting ready for Trump at 7:30. So it's going to be busy, folks. Last 24 days here. It's going to be a lot of events, a lot of coverage. Again, show's going to get discombobulated. Most times we probably won't have a full 2 hours to do the show at 8 o'clock, but we'll do the best we can. We'll cover the events. And that's why I'll be here with you in the mornings to be able to go over things that maybe we're not allowed the time to do at night with the Trump events. So that's just the way it's going to be until the election. All hands on deck, and that's fine. So, all right, I'm going to end it there. Did about an hour. And then I will see you tonight, 8 p.m. We'll see if the town hall's over, but if not, you'll catch a little bit of the town hall. Well, make sure you catch all the town hall from 6 o'clock tonight on Real America's Voice, and then we'll catch you after that's done. And if they're done on time, then we'll see you at 8. If not, we'll see you when they're done in the 8 o'clock hour. President Trump Tonight Town Hall. All right, everybody have a great day. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you tonight on Real America's Voice. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.